Thanks for putting me on, Jeff, and I appreciate you allowing me to get some time to speak. I know Eric Moody's here from my office, and so is Josh Yeager, but I wanted to come to you guys today and talk to you about proposed project in your area. But first of all, I wanted, one of my deputies told me that we had some callers coming on saying that I haven't officially taken a stance regarding the animal shelter in the West Valley. I am 100% opposed to the general manager's plan to basically give our shelter away to nonprofits and have them, operate that instead of the city of Los Angeles. We take about 9,000 animals every single year there. We are one of the newer facilities. This city passed a bond to pay for fire stations and the upgrade of these animal shelters. I think it's, does not ever send the right message when we ask for money from the taxpayers and you guys approve it and not follow through with that. So we've introduced a motion that we are going to be addressing this at the next Personnel and Animal Welfare Committee. I've asked the general manager to come explain what that plan is, because I still haven't heard. I've heard a lot of different stories about how they want to give it to this group or that group, but I haven't heard a real plan on what we're going to do to address the 9,000 animals. East Valley now takes 15,000 animals every year, and there's just no way that they can accommodate this. Just to make it clear to everybody, anyone who's listening, I am 100% opposed to the general manager's plan and will be doing everything in my power to try to fight to keep this open. That being said, I wanted to come to you guys today as the leaders in our community and talk to you about a project that, you may have heard of, but I wanted to sort of clear the air and tell you about a community meeting that I'm having. So, we all know that homelessness remains one of our, biggest challenges, and no community is untouched by this crisis, including in C12. And we've always said that we needed to be a part of the solution. You guys know my stance on the other site. I never thought that was a good project. I never thought it made sense at where it was. And I've always said that homelessness is a very complex issue, right? We need more than just housing to truly end homelessness. We need support intervention for mental illness, drug abuse. We have to address the housing affordability crisis, programs that support seniors and people, our youth that's at that transitional age, possibly transitioning out of the foster care system. And most of all, I've talked about that we need more programs that focus on prevention. But I'm sure as you heard lately, as a result of the lawsuit against the city and the county, there's been a U.S. District Court judge named David Carter that has mandated the city provide 6,000 beds for unhoused in the next 10 months, and then an additional 700 beds in the next 18 months. Now, this timeline is obviously very, very ambitious, but we are forced to act and meet this mandate the urgency of this order means projects are going to move quickly once sites are deemed feasible. And so even though we need to move quickly to comply with this mandate, I've always said to you guys and promised you that that our community would be a part of the conversation about any property the city is exploring for possible housing for individuals experiencing homelessness. And as you all know, one of the industries that's been hit hardest by the COVID-19 is the hotel and motel industry. Many companies are downsizing and putting properties up for sale. And we heard not too long ago that the Travel Lodge on Devonshire is one of those properties that were listed for a potential sale. So there's a new state program called Project Home Key. This is not to be mistaken with the Project Room Key, which was to make sure that we try to stop the spread of COVID-19 and provide a safe place for our unhoused individuals to live on a temporary basis. What I'm afraid of is that, this project can happen at this travel lodge without any input from my office or our community because of this federal mandate. And I would just want to make sure that our voices are heard. Community input and engagement is obviously, going to be needed, kind of like what we did at the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. We engaged the community and we built a great project. But I think, as all of you know, the fact of the matter is that this property is located adjacent to transit. And that has the potential for development that could far exceed the 72 existing units at the Travel Lodge because of, a number of the state laws that have passed. A property located near transit overrides a lot of, city zoning codes and allows someone to build a much larger project, possibly without parking and other things that we would normally require on them. I want you guys to be a part of this process because, that Travel Lodge has been identified as a possible site for the Project Home Key. And, I want to work very closely with this neighborhood council. And I'm asking that you schedule this item for discussion at next month's meeting. Before that meeting, to allow a robust conversation, allow community input, I'm going to be holding a community meeting to answer all of our questions, including a lot that, I still have about this potential project. So I'm going to be hosting a virtual community meeting on October 14th at 6 p.m. I'm asking you to share this information and with as many people as possible, and for people to submit their questions regarding this potential site. You can submit your questions directly to me in my email, which is councilmember.lee@lacity.org by 5 p.m. on Monday, October 12th. So please let others know that we're going to be having this community meeting. Info will be posted on our Facebook page. Anybody reaching out to our office, the Zoom information will be on our Facebook page, will be on our website. And obviously anybody that reaches out to us, we are going to share that information. But I wanted to let all of you know that this is a potential site that is being proposed. And that, we're going to, try to have as robust a conversation as possible to make sure that, we are part of the conversation when it comes to possibly building a site at this location. Thanks, Jeff. I know, this hasn't been agendized as an item. I don't know whether, Yeah,
I'd like to thank you, John, for including the CNC in the announcement of your community meeting and the potential occurrences at the Travel Lodge. Because this was an unagendized item, the board members cannot participate in any discussion or comment or questions whatsoever. Those can be addressed at a different time. I'm quite sure we'll be accessing you to discuss this at a later date.
And and I ask that if you can schedule this for next month, because we're going to have that community meeting and hopefully have all the different questions answered, and is something that I need you guys to be a part of.
Thank you. Tara.